This is now your favorite guy. Jaffer has asked that we show Matt Miller more often, so
yeah, it eases my anxieties about the world, and just his face, just his charm and his charisma really does a lot for my endorphins up here.
Oozes charisma, this guy, as much as Nosferatu. This is him talking about the ICC yet again.
The president said yesterday that the Assad regime, or Assad himself, should be held accountable. Will you support his application to stand in front of the ICC as a war criminal who committed crimes against humanity?
So now you go back like a year and the U.S. would have been jumping up and down saying, yeah, Assad should be in front of the ICC for war crimes. But now it's a little more complicated, isn't it?
We support the work of the ICC. I know that obviously we have
hilarious.
Hold on. I'm gonna let me address it.
They're laughing.
Yeah, for those of you who can't tell in the podcast, maybe you can't tell. The room of reporters is laughing at him when he says we support the work of the ICC, because they have spent the past month trying to explain why the ICC cannot arrest Netanyahu and that they aren't legitimate. And now he supports the work of the ICC.
We support the work of the ICC, and we fully unequivocally support the Palestinian people on their struggle for freedom by any means necessary.
Yeah, for some reason he didn't quite say all of that, but
yeah, we support the work of the ICC.
We have had a lot. Let me just answer the question. Matt, let me answer the question, because I was addressing
guys. Come on, guys, seriously.
We obviously have had a jurisdictional dispute with them as it relates to cases against Israel. That is a long-standing jurisdictional dispute.
This reminds me of like a boss who is forced at some point for corporate policy to bring together all the workers and say, look, no sexual harassment will be tolerated. And everyone knows that he's been one of the biggest sexual harassers. So he's up there saying that and they're all laughing. Like, that's
hilarious. And then he calls it a jurisdictional dispute. I look, it's just that I don't know if they have the jurisdiction to go after me for the sexual harassment. It's really just a jurisdictional thing. It's nothing based on principle.
Yes, their jurisdiction is mainly around ass touches, whereas I tend to be a frontal guy.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Israel is our friends. Don't get them in trouble. That's his definition of a jurisdictional dispute. But yeah, we know what he means. Like they're not technically a part of the ICC. It was just how he's trying to get away with this logic, but it's just insane.
That we support broadly their work, and we have supported their work in other cases, despite our jurisdictional dispute when it comes to Israel.
We support their work broadly, but not with Israel.
Wow. I should have just waited for him to finish, because he just said exactly what I was saying sarcastically.
But that said, when it comes to Assad, I suspect that before you ever get to the ICC, the people of Syria are probably going to want him to return home and stand judgment for his crimes in Syria.
I'm not going to return home. I mean, these are Russians.
Well, that statement is ridiculous as well. With Assad in Syria, I'm not going to answer the question, because Syrians would want him to return home and face the judgment there. Could you imagine if they did that for everyone? Oh no, well, we're not going to say, because they've said Putin should stand in front of the ICC. Oh no, we're not going to say Putin should stand in front of the ICC, because I think people would want him to see judgment in Russia. Of course, all that's insanity.
I doubt that he's going to. I mean, if he's not going to return home from Russia, I doubt he's going to transfer himself to The Hague, leaving Russian protection either. My point being, should he ever decide he's willing to face accountability, or should the Russians decide that they don't want to continue to harbor a war criminal, there may be a whole range of people in line to hold him accountable for it.
Ironically, almost to the minute as he's saying this, that should Russia stop wanting to harbor a war criminal, then he could face the music in front of the ICC, blah, blah, blah. Yoav Gallant, the Israeli genocidal so-called defense minister, former, was in Washington, D.C.
Who has a warrant out for his arrest.
Also has ICC warrant out for his arrest for war crime.
War criminal, yeah.
So should the United States, and I'm not, of course, leaving out all the U.S. officials who've committed war crimes endlessly, but should the United States stop fostering a war criminal like Yoav Gallant? Maybe he could be shown his way to the ICC. This guy is so goddamn despicable.
And his smirk. I love his beautiful smile. It reminds me of a wolf spider, my favorite animal.
Okay, I'm going to ask you about the Caesar Act, but do you think that the U.S. is undermining the trust of the international community in organizations like the ICC and ICJ by making an exception for Israel when trying to convince us that Assad and the like of Assad should be brought in front of the
so again, I think it takes two.
Let me answer that for him. Fucking absolutely. Are they delegitimizing the ICC? They've spent months trying to delegitimize the ICC. So then you come up with someone like Assad and they go, oh, well, the ICC should suddenly be legitimate again.
Mm-hmm. For better or for worse.
Of the ways in which he could be held accountable for his crimes by just focusing on the ICC. Because I do suspect that whatever comes out of the wake of the past 48 hours, you will see a demand by the Syrian people that he return to Syria.
It's just so stupid answers. This would be, it's like, okay, so he was arrested. So, like, if someone were arrested somewhere else, it's like, oh, well, we're not going to prosecute him because we feel like his hometown really wants to get a swing at him.
Yeah, they probably miss him. They want to see him one more time.